This message is brought to you by Abercrombie Kids, where the activewear is made for every summer activity, so your mini-me can bring their personal best. Summer days are always an adventure, from day camp to rec leagues and pool days. Abercrombie Kids has the shorts, tees, and swim to keep them comfy and keep up with them. Get everything for the entire summer at Abercrombie Kids. Shop in-store, online, or in the app.
This is Cop Talk, talking crime, cases, and backing the blue. Now, here are your hosts, Captain Ed Mehmet and Detective Kevin Schroeder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cop Talk. I'm Kevin Schroeder, retired NYPD detective, and I'm here with my co-host, Captain Ed Mehmet. Say hello, Captain.
Hello, WABC listeners.
So today's guest is Anthony A.J. Johnson. He is recognized as one of the leading community police experts in the world. His videos are on social media. He has been viewed over 100 million times on social media. AJ has a huge following. AJ has traveled the world speaking at schools and universities, police agencies, and private businesses as well. Welcome, AJ.
Thank you for having me.
So let's tell the story now, how we met. We met down in Washington, correct, with Police Week about a month or so ago.
Yeah. What was the name of that Irish pub? The Irish Channel.
The Irish Channel. Okay,
Yep.
There we go. Irish Channel. Shout out to the Irish Channel. Yeah, that was a good time.
That was a blast. I love going to DC during Police Week.
Yes, we had some mutual friends that day. My boys from Cleveland, friends of yours as well.
Yep.
John Kubis and Sergeant Schroeder. And, it was just a great crew and great time. And actually, it's all about the cause why we were all there,
Absolutely.
So I know you, let's begin here. I know you had a rough bringing up, and can we touch on that?
Absolutely. I'm an open book. Whatever you want to know, I'm definitely willing to share.
Okay. So, you had it's a rough bringing up and, you overcome a lot. And why don't you tell our audience, in regards to your background you're bringing up?
Yeah. So I spent the first 6 years of my life in a apartment complex by the nickname of Uzi Alley. And that apartment complex had that nickname due to the amount of violent crimes committed with fully automatic weapons. At that time, it was one of the most dangerous places in Central Ohio. So not just in Columbus, but in Central Ohio. So as you can imagine, the things that I saw just within those first 6 years, like you name it. But after those 6 years, the local government came in and they shut the apartment complex down. So we had to move. We moved down the street, maybe like 3 blocks away, an equally as bad area. And actually, a majority of the people from Uzi Alley moved to the same area that we moved because they lowered their rent because they wanted to attract renters. But highly abusive father, addicted to crack cocaine. He was a functioning alcoholic, couldn't read or write, would sexually assault my mother. It was just not the ideal living conditions. And that really directed the rest of my life until I got to about 19. But it took me 5 years to graduate high school. I almost didn't graduate my 5th year. I graduated at the bottom of my class. When I was 18, I was almost homeless. I didn't have anywhere to go. My mother lost her house because she couldn't afford the mortgage on the house that she was in. So you name it, just hanging around gang members, drug dealers, being influenced by the old saying, birds of a feather flock together, and you show me your friends and I'll show you your future. I was unfortunately falling into that trap. So that was my upbringing up until I was about 19 and a half. And I met a person who forever changed my life.
Now, what made you want to get into law enforcement?
Yeah, it's a pretty wild story, actually. So when I found out that I was going to be homeless, I had a few more months to figure out where I was going to go. I had a few more months to pay rent where I was at. I called my mother up because at the time I was living in a drug house. And unbeknownst to me, she had lost the house. So she was living with my uncle. So I really couldn't stay there. I called a couple quote unquote friends, asked them if I could crash at their place. They said no. So for some reason, I got a gym membership because somewhere something told me when you're going through a difficult time, workout, So I'm working out, and this short, stocky guy walks up to me and tells me I'm using the machine wrong. And I was completely rude to him. Like, I just like cussed him out, like, get out of here. I didn't tell you to come over here and tell me how to use this machine. And he just kind of laughed and walked away. I thought about it that night and how wrong I was in treating him that way. So I made it a point to go back to the gym the same day, hoping that he would be there so I could apologize. And he was. I apologized. We instantly kicked it off. He accepted my apology. He started letting me work out with him and his group of friends. He immediately became like a mentor of mine. He didn't know it at the time. But after about 2 months, he opened his doors to me of his home and prevented me from being homeless. He didn't want to see this young kid who he saw potential in be homeless. So it was around that time that I realized he was a police officer, and it just rocked my world because at that time I hated police. I thought police officers were racist. I thought they were corrupt. I thought, all the stuff that we're spoon fed when we turn on the radio and we turn on the news. I believed all that because that was what my circle of influence told me. So he just really opened up the door for me and took me under his wing and planted that seed. And he said that I should join the police department. I should get my life together first, right? Stop doing all the stupid stuff I was doing. Join the police department, go back to the community in which I was raised and mentor the youth the same way that he was mentoring me. And it was appealing and I didn't look back. I was full steam ahead. I cut off a bunch of dead weight. I had friends, quote unquote friends, threatened to shoot my mother's house up because I was now the police or trying to be the police. But it was a wild journey, but I'm glad I made it, and I'm so blessed to have him in my life to this day as one of my best friends.
Now, how long do you have on the job? How long are you on the job now?
So the agency that I work for now, I've been there 10 years, but I worked for a small village just southeast of where I work now, which is the city of Columbus, for 2 years prior to that. So about 12 and a half years. 12
and a half years. And you have a 25-year retirement plan, or is it 20?
We do. Yeah, 25 years. Yep. Yeah, I wish I had 20. We were actually the class before us got 20 and ours was the cutoff. So I just missed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, NYPD is 25 now as well,
Yeah. I think everybody's making that change.
And that extra 5. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just trying to get more bang for their buck. Absolutely.
Yeah. And 5 years goes quick. The extra 5 years. I mean, just to ask my co-host, Captain Ed. Go ahead, Captain.
Yeah. I did 40 years.
Oh,
hey,
nice.
I was thinking is how did you get through your background investigation?
So it took some time. So this happened when I was about 19 years old. So we don't hire police officers until we're 21. You have to be 21 to join the police force. So this was years. This was years of me shaving off friends, getting away from the drug dealers, stop being involved in the activity that I was involved in. And I just had to wait until. So the hiring process has criteria, right? Like you can't smoke weed within X amount of years when you put your application in. So I just had to wait for that set amount of years. And fortunately for me, it fell right within that time frame of when I turned 21. But I actually put my application in the first time, and they looked at my background pack and they were like, "No, thank you. We're good." But I ended up paying to put myself through another academy. Got on with that smaller agency, worked there for 2 years, and then put my application back in with the city of Columbus. And they asked me during my oral board, which is one of the last steps for the hiring process. I think he said something along the lines of, if we didn't want you 3 years ago, what makes you think we want you now? And my answer was, sir, with all due respect, like this is where I'm meant to be. So if you don't hire me now, I'll be back the year after, and I'll be back the year after until you hire me. And I think that made just enough impact for them to trust me and hire me.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
You remind me when Kirk Douglas first became, well-known in the movies, he made a movie called The Detective. It was probably made around 1950, 51. And he came from a similar background in the movie anyway. about you. You had, and it was a very interesting movie. You might want to look it up. It was with Eleanor Parker, played his wife, and it was just a great movie. And it was all about his sordid background and how he became a very dedicated cop, almost to the point of being obsessed. Hardline guy. It's a great movie.
Yeah, that's easy to do in our profession. I'll definitely have to check that out. I appreciate it. It's been a great journey, though. I don't regret it at all. I don't regret it one bit.
Yeah, as you know, crime is getting out of control all over the country, and I was wondering what's it like in Columbus, the crime picture. Here in New York, we're having our problems. We have problems with the district attorney's office. We have problems with the state legislature. It's a Democratic-controlled state, and I don't want to get into politics, but all I can tell you is that things are going downhill rapidly. We may have to move out to where you are.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you want to come out here because it's pretty bad. In Central Ohio as well. I don't know how many homicides we have to date, but they're up there. Our felonious assaults are up there. Violent crimes are up there. Unfortunately, I think it's a nationwide trend, and 2020 didn't help. I think 2020 was the gas on the fire for a lot of states and cities and municipalities across the country. But yeah, it's interesting times. It's very interesting times, and you have a lot of police officers out there whose hands are tied and they're not allowed to go out there and be the police and be proactive, which that doesn't affect the police officers, right? Like they're going to get a paycheck every 2 weeks. Like even though they want to go out and do these things, they can't. It ultimately affects the community. And I just don't think people realize that. But I think they will soon because, like you said, the numbers are up.
Captain AJ, how many police officers do you have on your department?
About 2,000.
2,000.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
Sorry, go ahead.
Not like New York. You got
that's about the number. That's about the number of cops just in the borough of Brooklyn,
which is crazy. Yeah. That is insane.
Yeah, I think what do we have about 38,000 now, Ed?
Probably. We have the equivalent of about 2.5 army divisions.
Yeah, I mean that's a city. Like 38,000 people is like a legit size city. That's impressive.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
What about political support? Do you have problems with them, like we do here in New York?
Not right now. We're good. So, Columbus has been a department, and really the city of Columbus has been a city that's just like rich in history. So, like we've always done things this way, so we're going to continue to do things this way. And I say that to say that 2 years ago we hired our first outside chief, meaning every other chief that we had has come throughout the ranks. So we did a nationwide search for a chief, and they hired a female by the name of Chief Elaine Bryant, to be our chief. And she brought a first assistant chief. So she brought somebody that she made number 2 in charge. And they have a great relationship with the mayor. They have a great relationship with the city prosecutor, which helps us, right? Because she's able to kind of be that buffer between us. Now, it's not the support that I had when I first got on, but it's definitely not what we witnessed nationwide during 2020 and those surrounding years. So we're pretty fortunate right now. We're kind of riding this wave of that good relationship and like all the good work Chief is doing right now.
Today, your work as a motivational speaker is very interesting, and it has a global impact. So what motivated you to become a motivational speaker?
It was kind of like being a police officer. It found me. So I was at work one day and I get an email from Harvard. Now, keep in mind, I barely graduated high school. It took me 5 years, and I've never stepped foot on a college campus as a student. Not once, never enrolled, none of that. So I get this email from Harvard, and they requested that I speak to their students at the Kennedy School of Government, which is like their top tier school at the university. And I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like spam. I'm like, there's no way Harvard's reaching out to me. But come to find out, a bunch of their students had saw some of my videos and how I interact with the community. And they just wanted me to come in, and they actually wanted me to share the stage with the then president of the ACLU. So we shared the stage. We had a great conversation, a great dialogue. It was around the time body cameras were being implemented. So we did like a deep dive into body cameras, what our personal opinions are on body cameras. And it was just amazing. So when I did that, it was such a rush for me. And I enjoyed it so much because I was able to pour into these students at Harvard, which if you made it into Harvard, I would assume that you're going to end up somewhere in a position of power eventually. So I just wanted to do it more. So I reached out to my high school that I graduated from, asked them if I could come and speak to the students and just share my story of success to kind of like motivate and encourage them. I did that. And by the end of that presentation, I was crying. All the students were crying. I had the entire high school, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade in the room. And it just took off from there. And I mean, since then, like I've literally traveled the world. I've worked with professional sports teams, universities, detention centers, but it's my like passion because I've been through so much in my life. And I feel like I've learned so much in going through that if I could just redirect one person in the right direction, I feel like it will be worth it. And it's rewarding. You know, when I go and I talk to these kids who are incarcerated, and I let them know that this isn't the end of the road for them. They're going to get out one day. You could get your life together. Like, look at me. I was almost you. And you kind of see that light switch go on for the first time. It's more rewarding than the paycheck.
Sounds like you could give Tony Robbins a good run.
I don't know about that.
For sure.
But I don't know. All I can say is God is good. God is good. I mean, I don't know how to explain me going from almost failing my 5th year of high school to speaking at Harvard. Annually, because that wasn't just a one and done thing. Like I did so well there. They're like, yeah, please come back and do it again. So yeah, I'm blessed.
What's a typical week for you as a motivational speaker?
So that's day to day. So I might get, so this month, so I've probably had 5 gigs this month already. And you know, I could get flown out to California. So actually earlier this month, I was in California. I spoke at a youth summit and they wanted me to share my story, but they also wanted like a motivational twist put on it. So I actually was their opening keynote. And then I did like a closing 15-minute segment. It was like a 2-day thing. I did 3 presentations locally here in Columbus, and then I did 1 through Zoom. So it's really day to day. Whoever reaches out to me, I had the Columbus Crew soccer team reach out to me and they're like, hey, we'd love to have you come in and talk to our people just to kind of like get them going and build them up. I've talked to the Ohio State football team before their season to kind of encourage them, which those are my guys. I'm a big Buckeye fan, of course.
We can tell.
Yeah. So it's day to day. I'll be back at Harvard in September. I have another presentation at the beginning of next month. So it's just as they reach out and depending on what their needs are, I can make it happen. But my primary job is being a police officer. So me speaking has to kind of move around that.
Are you familiar with the New York City Police Athletic League? The people that's called the PAL?
I'm not, but I actually am our PAL coordinator. So our police athletic league coordinator. We're actually trying to kick it off and start it. So I'd love to hear more and potentially get put in contact with somebody over there.
Oh yeah, I was thinking you might be a very good source for them, or maybe bring it to New York.
Yeah.
Kevin and I go to their luncheons on a regular basis.
Okay.
And the owner of the radio station that we work on there is the chairman of the board of directors. I'm gonna recommend that you be in touch with them. Maybe they'll bring you in. You could attend the PAL luncheon and tell them about what you do.
I'm
sorry. I was going to say I'd be honored.
We'll have to talk to John Katzmatidis, who is pretty much runs the PAL. Correct, Ed?
Yes. Have you been to New York before?
I have been to New York. It was a one and done. I shouldn't say one and done, but it was. I've just been there once. And I don't remember the exact neighborhood, but it was for a family reunion. It was a pretty rough area. I do know that because I was there for a family reunion, and most of my family are on the rough side and the wrong side of the law. But that's actually where I got this scar from. I don't know if you can see the scar on my face. So New York left a permanent mark. not figuratively speaking, but beautiful city, beautiful city.
Now, getting back to Police Week, you were there.
Yes, sir.
What was your experience there? Did you participate in?
Yeah, I think that was my 10th year going to DC for Police Week.
Wow.
Yeah. I try to go every year. I didn't go 2020 and I didn't go 2021. But ever since I've been a police officer, I've started going. It's just, for me, you feel the camaraderie and the brotherhood of being a police officer like nowhere else when you're in DC during Police Week. It's everywhere you go, whether you stop by a bar, a restaurant, one of the events, like the camaraderie is there, the brotherhood's there. You get to share stories. You get to let your guard down, which we're not really good at doing for the right reasons, right? But you get to let your guard down in New York. But I always do the candlelight vigil, and I always do the actual memorial. And then I stopped by the museum and I toured the museum. They have a documentary that plays on the hour every hour, and I'm actually featured in that documentary. And I have the honor of being featured in that documentary. So I always stop by and check out the museum to support them as well.
Police morale, recruitment, and retention are in crisis mode. How do we turn it around? How do we get young people involved in police work? You know, it's a big problem now. It used to be thousands would make application for the job, and now you can't get anybody.
That's very true. That's very true, and that's actually a question that gets brought up a lot. And I believe that we have to make our job appealing to the younger generation. You know, they don't think like we do. They don't maneuver or do the things that we do. And when I say we, I just mean the generations that are older than them. You know, they're growing up in a time where law enforcement is not only bad, but hated and loathed on a worldwide level. You know, they're growing up in the 2020 era where police officers were painted and videos of police officers are everywhere on the internet, in uses of force and deadly shootings. So I think it's up to us to kind of get that positive message out there to show them that that's not the reality of a majority of law enforcement officers. And I think once we do a better job at that, it will help the recruitment and retention, but it's not an overnight fix. It can't be an overnight fix. I've had so many people reach out to me who have saw my videos online. They're like, "Oh, you're the cool cop. I like you." And I always have this conversation with, like, you know, I appreciate that message, but I just happen to be the person that put it online. I think if we could get more of that positivity out there and sharing what we really do day in and day out, the countless lives that we share, how awesome the job is, how it can not only change your life, but your family's life for the better. I think that will help. But we have to meet them where they're at. We have to use social media. We have to hop on podcasts and do it. We have to do what the younger generation is doing in order to attract them.
Speaking of podcasts, we hope that you'll circulate this one all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely promote it. I will definitely promote it.
Absolutely. Do you have any friends from your old neighborhood looking to come on the job?
You know, not necessarily get on the job, but they are inspired by what I've been able to do by the job, by using the platform of being a police officer. And they now respect the profession, which is so cool because, you know, like where I grew up, I mean, like cops were getting shot at, like in the neighborhood that I was raised. I've got so many friends that are dead or in prison and will be in prison for the rest of their life. So for them to see somebody that they grew up with and did a lot of these things with grow up, get his life together and become a police officer, and then they switch their mindset and go, you know what, maybe not all cops are bad. Oh, that's one of like the most rewarding things in the world. But none have reached out to me and said they want to join, which I didn't really expect it. But I hang out with a good amount of them still at select venues, right? Like I don't go to everywhere they're at, but we still talk. We still have great conversations. They call me up sometimes because they see the video online and you know, it upset them and they want to talk about it. And I kind of like walk them through what my opinion of the video is. And they just think differently because they're getting the inside insight, if that makes sense, right? Like we know why we have our hands on our guns when we walk up to cars, and we know why we shine our lights in the rear view mirrors or the side mirrors when we approach cars during traffic stops. And when you're able to explain that to the civilian mind, something clicks in them and goes, oh, okay, so the officer didn't want to shoot me. Like, no, last thing I want to do is shoot you. I just want to go home at the end of the night. just like you. So yeah, I'm able to convey that message to my friends and inspire them in that manner. And if they want to like check out some of my stuff on my website, it's just ajspeaks.org. And they could see all the stuff on there. The letter J, speaks.org.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
AJ, it's been a pleasure having you here. Like I said, I know when I seen you in DC, we all had fun. I think the captain was sleeping that night. He went to bed early. But we stayed up like bad boys and had some fun. And it was
yes, we did.
It's a great time considering the cause, what it's all about, honoring our all our deceased from all our police officers throughout the country. I'd like to thank our guest today, Anthony A.J. Johnson, police officer out in Columbus, Ohio, Columbus Police Department. Thank you, Anthony. And all our listeners, if you like what you hear, please subscribe to Cop Talk. And you can also follow us on Twitter at Cop Talk WABC. That's at Cop Talk WABC. That's our Twitter. So please follow us on Twitter. Please subscribe if you like what you hear. Until then, everyone be safe out there. Thank you.
You've created a cool indoor retreat. Now let Ultimate Heating and Cooling provide the quiet and energy-efficient comfort you can depend on with a range of innovative cooling solutions like the Carrier Infinity Heat Pump that delivers premium home heating and cooling performance. Learn more at ultimateheatingandcooling.com. You make it a home. Let Ultimate Heating and Cooling make it more comfortable. Rebates, incentives, and financing are available for a limited time. Ultimate Heating and Cooling and Carrier. Turn to the experts.